Hey guys, Marsingan here, bringing you another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and so I thought we might as well finish up the no item sweep against the hardest bosses in the game for Vegeta and Trunks. I did post a video yesterday doing the 3 main red zone bosses, Omega, Broly and the Metal Cooler Core, so I thought we might as well finish things up by getting a no item W over Cell Max as well. So honestly, this one, I mean, obviously you can get some bad RNG when you get to the tech phase, because certain units just obviously cannot survive super attacks, but this team is very, very good at beating this event. Like, I've seen screenshots from other people, like, trying out Vegeta and Trunks and their team in the Cell Max event. Obviously, Vegeta and Trunks themselves, very, very good, because not only do they have that guard, but they have type advantage. We talked about this in previous videos before, but you can see examples of it, like take Tech Gohan or any unit that has guard into an event where the enemy has type advantage over you. And you will notice that even though you are guarding, the arrow is pointing down and you're taking much less damage than another unit of that type would without guard. You are still taking more damage than if they were hit by a unit that they have type neutral or type advantage. So using Tech Gohan as the example, he will take more damage from an int boss super attack than he will from type neutral or an AGL boss, even though he has guard. So it's not a significant amount, but the type advantage does play into it. So obviously that makes Vegeta and Trunks very, very good for Cell Max when we get to that final phase. Obviously by that point, because you will have had them sitting in slot 1 for the first 2 phases, they will have had a decent amount of build up as well. I don't think I ever tried mine against Cell Max when they're at 55%, but as long as they have a decent build up, I think at 55% they'll even survive his super attack. Obviously it's better for them to get theirs off first, because especially if they do get any additionals, they are building up that little bit of extra defense, but otherwise this team is just very, very strong against this event. We have Carnival Goku, who obviously gives us access to the revival if we get the timing right and we need it towards the end. We have God Goku, who of course, you know, still able to take damage from the Tech Cell Max super attack, but is another very strong defensive option. Majin Vegeta's on the team, who, thanks to Vegeta and Trunks, works very nicely on this team. Also has type advantage over the last phase, so if we're able to pick up the 6 orbs of him to get his full defense and damage reduction, because he's only ever going to be in slot 2 or 3, because when it comes to these kind of events, especially with no item runs, it always makes sense to break rotations if you need to, based on, you know, what's the smartest play for that turn. I think there might be a point in this where he does stay on rotation and then get floated off, or the other way around. If we can pick up all of his orbs, because he gets to super attack first as well and raise his defense, he can survive a super attack from Cell Max. My Majin Vegeta is only 2 dupes, so definitely very good for this event as well. And then I brought the LR Gods. They are, I guess, technically the biggest liability on the team, but they dish out a lot of damage. They obviously link well with the other units on the team. They don't get the 200% leader skill from Vegeta and Trunks like the LR Super Saiyan 4s do, but they can still be very useful. They share decent links, especially with units like God Goku, who we're running on the team. And once we get to the final phase and we transform them, post their super attacks, they do tank the normal attacks very well. Obviously, if they don't get their dodge off, which, you know, the more rainbow orbs you pick up, the more chance they have to dodge. But if they don't get their dodge off, they obviously will die to a super attack from Tech Cell Max. But they are worth using. Obviously, their 18 key super post-transformation cancels out one of the actions, so you can often get good RNG with the attack placement, where you can just put them in a slot where they're only being attacked once, and then cancel out that attack, and then whether or not it was the super, they're essentially just giving you a bunch of free damage without you having to worry about them getting hit. And then we have our boy Namek Goku. I did a video on him recently. I do think he works really well on this Trunks and Vegeta team, and I think I talked about it in that video. He got a little bit of shine again recently with the Cell Max event, because he is very, very good in this event. He gets the 200% leader from Vegeta and Trunks. We saw in this turn, I used the strat. I mean, he was always going to be in slot 2 anyway, but he's the unit that, because he gets an extra attack guaranteed if he gets hit before he attacks, normally that would mean you have to put him in slot 1, but against an enemy that launches AoE attacks, you can go ahead and put him in slot 2, because obviously as long as one of the AoEs is before he gets his turn, it means he's been attacked before he attacks. And then because he's in slot 2, he also gets that chance to do another additional from that other part of his passive. So I think he did actually only attack 3 times in total, but with the hidden potential as well, that means he's actually able to attack 4 times in the turn if you get that, if you get hit with the AoE. So obviously it all depends again on RNG, but if all of those are 12 key super attacks, then obviously that puts him in a very good position for the final phase, because even though he is an int unit, his defense comes from just his raw defense stat, so you obviously want to build that up as high as possible. So here we are, we get to the tech phase. So you can see here, for example, the gods, I can put them in the middle if I do actually leave them here, and their 18 key super will cancel out that one action in the middle, and then Namek Goku gets that extra chance to additional super from his passive, whether he's in slot 2 or 3. So putting him in slot 3 here works out nicely. We can just grab that one in orb, get his 12 key. I don't think I do a single 18 key super with him in the entire run, because he still does good damage on his 12 key supers, and obviously they're the ones that infinitely stack his defense. So we don't want to rely on additional RNG, especially in turns where we're not getting any guaranteed extra attacks. If we go for his 18 key super, then obviously there's the possibility that he's not going to do any additionals, and then we won't get any defense raises for that turn, which once you get him built up to a certain point, it's obviously not really a huge issue, but considering we are specifically going for the no item run here, it makes more sense to prioritize his defense over offense. So the gods cancel out the action, they get their additional super attack. My gods are built for full additional. I did manage to pull an extra dupe for them off of the tickets from the Starry Night banner, so mine are 90% now. I never recommend buying the last copy of a unit with coins, because I imagine when they next come back on a banner, I'm probably going to pull them multiple times before I pull the new unit. And then look at that, Namek Goku dodging the super attack. So I thought that he would have been built up enough at this point, but him taking 30k from the normal attacks. Now obviously he's not super good link partner with the LR gods. He links really well with Vegeta and Trunks, but I'm fairly sure, based on how much damage each of those attacks should do, if he's taking 30k from the normal attacks, then the super attack would actually have finished us off there. So nice clutch dodge from Namek Goku, which pretty much seals the deal there. We're still a little bit away from taking out Tech Cell Max, but like I say, I'm pretty sure if that super attack had connected, then we would be dead. So we're still going on strong here. We still have the revival from Carnival Goku available. The one thing about revival skills, I know everybody loves Carnival Goku's one, and his one is good. Like, I definitely see it more regularly than when they were first introduced, and we have like UI Goku that needs to get hit 3 times despite having a 70% chance to dodge. I think in the over a year that he's been out, nearly 2 years for JP, but obviously I play global, I've actually seen his revival like legitimately in a run when using him maybe like 2 or 3 times, whereas obviously Carnival Goku's, when you take him into some of these more difficult events, you can get it pretty much all the time. But the big complaint with revival skills has always been when they have this HP restriction. Goku's is still pretty good. It's 59% or below HP, right? The problem is that doesn't help you if you start the turn on full health and then get one shot by Cell Max. So you still have to be at that threshold at the start of the turn. So as you can see here, our HP is not high enough, not low enough to have the revival available on this turn. So I think post 18 key super, my Carnival Goku's only 2 dupes. Depending on how he's been building up throughout the course of the event, he will still take a lot of damage from Cell Max's super attack. But at this point, it makes sense to put him in slot 1. I think there's only 1 attack there, whereas the majority of the attacks are in the middle. So Vegeta and Trunks, whilst they do lose their guard after the first 5 turns, we're obviously fighting against a tech enemy, so it's not a huge deal. They do lose out on an extra 70% attack and defense if they're not in slot 1 as well. But with the amount of attacks on this turn, it makes sense to put them in the middle. As you can see, we're still tanking normal attacks for double digits, and then the gods in the final slot. Actually, unless they dodge a super as well, I wonder if this, the 18 key super here, I wonder if the action that we cancelled out was the super attack. Because obviously we get the win, right, since we're watching the video. So the gods are not about to get absolutely obliterated here. Which means they either dodge an incoming super, or yeah, he doesn't super this turn. Which means, I assume, since we have had turns, so there's been runs I've done on video and on stream in the past where you can get turns where Cellmax actually doesn't super attack, but it's very rare. So I'll choose to believe that the gods did their job perfectly on that turn and cancelled out the super attack. So I mean, you saw they took over 100k from a normal attack and then dodged the other one. So still in a good spot. Get the Vegeta and Trunks active skill off for that extra little bit of defense as well as some damage. So with that defense buff actually off, there's no way we die. Even if he super attacked them in slot 1, we would have been perfectly fine. But he doesn't launch a super, so we are able to just finish him off here with the Trunks and Vegeta 18 key super with a crit for good measure. And there you go. So that is the Cell Max event beaten with the Vegeta and Trunks team with no items. For those of you who haven't done that mission yet, I'm assuming there's probably a load of you out there who have now done it just by proxy of pulling Trunks and Vegeta, because they and their team are incredibly good for this event. So there you go, Cell Max, no items with the Vegeta and Trunks team. Let me know what you guys think. Hopefully you got lucky in your summons if you did pull for them. Otherwise, if you have done Cell Max, no items with a different team, let us know what team you use down below in the comment section. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Master Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below for the Discord and the merch store, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.